Okay, okay, guys. Welcome back to another episode. I just want this video to be very brief, but at the same time, I want you to get some insights and some understanding for you guys that want to study abroad. So I have a friend of mine, a cool friend. So I'll be asking him some question that you guys might want to ask him. So I hope I cover most of the question. So the first question I'm going to be asking you is, can you...
First, I think I should introduce myself.
Okay.
So hello guys. As you can see, I'm actually being interviewed by my boss. I'm actually a student of mechanical engineering, studying currently at McGill University here in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada. And I hope this session is actually going to be insightful to you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I hope you're ready for the question I want to ask. So it's very brief. So the first question on my list is here. Can you explain what mechanical engineering involves, like for viewers who might not understand what mechanical engineering is? Yeah.
All right. So to be honest, I feel everybody would have heard about, a particular discipline called engineering. So mechanical engineering is more or less like, a subdomain, out of the big domain, which is engineering. And it deals with the way, things basically work, the mechanics of things. Under mechanical engineering, there are different aspects. For example, there are aspects like, aerospace engineering, other mechanical engineering. There is another aspect called refrigeration and air conditioning. And I think there's automotive, there is what other aspect? There's one funny aspect, ecology something. When I was in my undergrad, there's this, is it ecology they call it or something? I can't even remember, but there are diverse aspects under mechanical engineering. So it deals with the way, the process that, that actually describe the way things work. Let me say the way machines work, the way basically things work, the way things work.
I think I understand that.
Yeah, so, that's very nice.
So based on that course now, based on mechanical engineering, what drew you to McGill University, like out of other universities?
McGill.
Yeah.
Well, McGill is actually a very great school. I think McGill is one of the best schools in Canada. You can basically apply, to get into Canada. So, and the funding package in McGill is actually very nice. So I think that is something I should say. But the most important aspect that actually, made me apply to McGill is the fact that it has one of the best reputation when it comes to schools in Canada.
You mean in the whole of Canada, like the best? If you compare it to other universities like Toronto, you didn't check.
Exactly that's why I said it has one of the best.
Okay.
Toronto and McGill, like University of Toronto and McGill, they are always beating each other when it comes to the ranking. I think sometimes in 2024, McGill was like first in Canada, and after a very short while, we just know Toronto, like that particular school is just always very, very resilient. Before you know, they beat McGill again and they became
like
number one in Canada. So yeah, it's a very good school too. So at least one of the first 3 schools in Canada, best schools in Canada.
Nice.
So and when you look at the research that they actually carry, that the body of research in McGill, let me use that word. It's very diverse. It covers a wide range of activities.
I think I might come to that school next, maybe after my master's.
Nice. Don't worry. Now free tickets for for you.
So as you're studying now, I want to ask, what is your research focus? You're doing research masters now. So what is your research focus on mainly, and why is it so important?
Oh, nice. That's a very good question. My research is basically in composite materials.
You let me break the English down so that.
All right. Okay. Maybe I should explain. Composite materials are actually materials that comprises or that are manufactured or formed by fusing together or Yeah, let me use the word fusing, because if I use the word juxtaposing, it doesn't
Like
make
joining together, coming together.
Exactly,
right?
by fusing together different materials to be able to form a new material that has like improved properties. Sorry.
Yeah.
So let me use a very like common example. Like you've seen steel, you've seen metal like steel, aluminum, and the likes. So there's a particular class of material that we call like polymer. So when you combine metals and polymers to create a single material that has like both properties of like metal and polymer, you have like composite material. It's more or less like hybrid. You get, maybe I should use that word for this particular context, like hybrid.
Yeah.
So that is.
So what's the importance of that your research?
Right. I think that is actually very cool. So the idea behind manufacturing composite materials is reducing weight, and like is the goal of, or the objective of actually reducing weight. So we look at metals, like steel and aluminum, like I initially explained. These are materials that can easily be purchased. But when you look at the weight of this particular material, it's you want to really save like weight, and if you save weight, for example, like in automobile, if you save weight, you're actually going to reduce the consumption of fuel. And if you reduce the fuel that is being consumed by all these automobile, I'm not talking about the hybrid ones that actually use like electricity and the likes, or batteries. So I'm not talking about those ones.
Okay.
But I'm talking about because all these are automobile, they are still in they are still in use, or you get, people are still using these things, they are still buying all these cars and the like. So I think for the next 5 years, they will still be using them. You get, little by little, they'll be phasing them out and maybe shipping them to Africa. So as I was explaining, so by reducing weight, you're actually creating like an improved material that has like good qualities of both metal and like the composite material that I spoke about. So my own project is to actually, design a simulation, a model that can actually predict deformation, and that can, also model how this hybrid processes, is being manufactured in the industry. So I'm trying to like develop a standalone simulation that can actually predict all this deformation mechanism.
So that will bring me next to my next question. Like,
all right.
So based on your program now, what is the most challenging part of your graduate study?
The most challenging part of my graduate studies. To be honest, I think the most challenging part of my graduate studies is basically balancing coursework with research. It can be very crazy, because
I thought you guys just do research. So you guys still do like course based?
Yeah, we still do like, we take some courses to be able to like understand some of the work we are doing, and sometimes the courses we take is just to be able to satisfy the requirements that is being laid out by the school. So you can actually take some courses that might want to take your life. So there are some courses that you have like, assignments, and you have like 2 10 paper, and then you are also going to do projects. It's just crazy. And then you have to be giving, there's what we call progress updates. You have to be giving progress updates
on what you're working on.
What you're working on. So it's a lot of work, and to be honest, it can be brain draining when you think about it. I think that's the most difficult.
So based on that challenge now, so the opposite now, what is the most exciting or project you say you're proud of? I say, okay, yes, even
like you mean in my coursework or in my research?
Your program so far, like the exciting or project you have worked on that I'm so proud.
The exciting project I've actually worked on is, I think it's my work. Is this my research? But when it comes to my coursework, I think the most exciting part of my coursework is having to do this. There's a particular project I worked on machine learning, or in machine learning. So like the instructor actually asked us to like, pick a project and make sure your project actually solve a problem in mechanical engineering. Exactly. So what I did was that I was actually collecting some data from my research, some complex viscosity data. I was actually, it's just like rheology. I don't know if I can explain. It's more like measuring the flow of materials. Rheology is a branch of, engineering or composite engineering, where you kind of like characterize the flow. You want to check out how a material flow. You get if the flow is just like comparing water and comparing honey. The way water will flow is
so faster than honey because it's thick.
Exactly.
So,
Because honey is thick and water is, is less viscous.
So I have to
So I have to be able to characterize that particular. So for my project, I carried out some, experimental analysis at elevated temperatures at 240 degrees Celsius, 260 degrees Celsius, and the likes. So I collected some data from there, and since we have to, we need to have data to be able to actually do any machine learning, because one of the most difficult part of machine learning is having to collect data. But since I already have some data that I collected from the lab, it was very easy for me to actually do my machine learning project and the likes. And then with the help of ChatGPT, I was able to debug my code and the like. So it was very exciting, and the result of the project, I think that was one of the projects that actually gave me joy.
So how do you differentiate your undergrad and your graduate? Like, what is the difference between the two?
To be honest, my undergrad in Nigeria, I would say that there's a considerable difference between, or there are considerable differences because it's not just one. There are considerable differences between undergrad in Nigeria and my master's currently here in McGill. So in Nigeria, to be honest, consider the fact that apart from the fact that we are actually limited by resources and we are limited by the scope of the kind of research that we can actually carry out. Over here at McGill or over here in Canada, let me use Canada as a whole, because of course different schools in Canada, there are schools in Canada that we've particularly gone to those schools to actually maybe do some characterization, and those schools are not like the top 3 schools, but if you see the kind of facilities they have in Canada here, it is very massive. You get our school don't even have that equipment. So all schools in Canada they're very good. You get, so that's why I'm using Canada as an
example.
So my master's here in Canada, to be honest, is very much different. I mentioned one difference of having to of comparing the facilities you have in Nigeria and the facilities you have here in Canada for research. And apart from that particular fact, of course, the way lecturers actually or instructors actually relate with their students is much different from the way lecturers actually relate with their students. Of course, between lecturers and students here, you have this cordial relationship, and you can easily walk up to your lecturer and try to they're easily approachable. They have office hours that you can easily go and meet them in their during their office hours and just share ideas with them. When you are stuck, you can always ask for help. You get, but in Nigeria, it's crazy. And for example, this is actually a very it's a very funny one, but I would say it's all the same. So lecturers here, they don't really take life too difficult in the sense that I can actually call my lecturer by name. You get, so but in Nigeria, if I try to call my lecturer by name, I'm failing that course. I'm failing. I'll carry over. I'm failing. Even if let's say the lecturer happens to be a professor, for example, and I call the lecturer using Dr. Bello instead of Professor Bello, I can fail that course because of that particular thing. You get, in Nigeria. No respect. But they don't take life very difficult like that. You can call your instructor by his first name, and moreover, this instructor is nowhere the level that the instructors in Nigeria or the lecturers in Nigeria, they are not at the same level with the instructors here. You have instructors here that have mentored a lot of students, even students that are currently across the world, and they are also lecturers, they are also professors. So it's just crazy for me because the ability to really walk up to them and share ideas with them is just it's very mind blowing and it's very nice.
Yeah.
So I think that is one. And that is my second point. So my third point, I think one thing I should also, speak about is the involvement of government in research, in the research activities that's actually going on across the country. When you compare that with Nigeria, in fact, government, there's nothing like government involvement in research. I should be very honest in Nigeria. We all know the things that are currently going on in Nigeria, so I wouldn't want to talk about that. But over here, government funding is one of the strongest support system for research activities here in Canada. Just check everywhere. There are some scholarship you can always apply for. There's is it NSEC scholarship for engineering? There are different ones here in Quebec. There are various funding you can always apply for. Vanya scholarship is fully funded. Is a fully funded government scholarship that you can always get as a student. So, yeah.
So far, like as an international student, your experience studying in a province like Quebec or in a city like Montreal. In brief, like what's your experience so far?
Well, my experience has been
knowing where that is a bilingual city, and to that question, what is your French level or what is the experience in French and stuff like that?
To be honest, I'll be very sincere about that. I'm actually very bad at French. Like my French is very basic, like very, very basic. But to be honest, I've not really had an occasion whereby I find it very difficult to really struggle to communicate with people. Because the highest I will basically just tell them is like to parler anglais, meaning that do you speak English? You get, if they ask me like, okay, when I say to parler anglais, they understand that my French is not so good. You get, so
you can hear the intonation.
I can easily communicate with them. As far as it's in Montreal, because anywhere outside of Montreal, to be honest, they are conk French speakers there. So, and it's very understandable because it's more or less like people that are retired and they are moving to settle down.
So English is more in Montreal.
Exactly. Because there are more English speakers, people from all around the world.
So for example now, if I'm interested in studying McGill, maybe I want to study mechanical engineering.
The way you call it McGill, it actually makes me laugh.
What is the right name?
It's actually McGill. It's more like McDonald. They say McDonald. So it's more like McDonald's. It's McGill.
So if I'm studying at that school, maybe I want to study a course, mechanical engineering, for example, what are the things I need to do? Like, if I want to get a funding, maybe I want to go into research masters, what will I do? What are the documents I need to do?
Okay, nice. I think that's a very good question, actually. To be able to make application to mechanical engineering, to get into mechanical engineering over here at McGill, we need to put some documents together. For example, like one is your transcript, your CV, your reference letters. I think I submitted about two. Let's say 2-3 reference. I don't know if
reference letter from academic or one or just
you can I actually got reference letters from my previous lecturers, my Nigerian lecturers. They were very nice. So they were very, very nice, helping me and all. I know sometimes it can be very difficult to get those things together. But you can either get from your employer or get from your lecturers, your previous lecturers. So, and what else again did I actually submit? And my SOP. I actually submitted. I submitted a personal statement. A 1-page personal statement.
Did you submit anything like IELTS, English proficiency?
No, I didn't actually submit English proficiency. You get, so because most of the schools in Canada, they know that Nigeria is actually an English-speaking country per se, and so it's always very, very easy to convince them that we are tutored in English and like.
So those are the basic documents we need to apply.
Those are the basic documents.
If we apply, we get this funding for research or
for funding. To be honest, I always suggest that people reach out to supervisors, because when I was actually applying, before I applied, I sent a couple of emails. And part of the supervisors or the professors that I actually sent emails to is my current PI. PI is principal investigator. So it's my current PI. So I sent email to my current supervisor, and
Yeah.
then it was like he didn't actually respond initially. So, but after some time, I think maybe a week or so, I wrote a reminder mail to him. Then he responded, and it was like, "Oh, could we have like, do you have a moment to like interview with me and the likes?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely," because so we had this interview, and then it was like, "Okay, make application to the school," and
And
then
that was the ticket.
yeah, then I started putting my document together. So yeah, it's a very it's like a wow moment.
So if you are giving admission, you'll be giving like tuition waiver and some stipend every month.
For me, I am actually on the supervisor's funding. So
Yeah.
my supervisor actually had funding at that particular point in time. So, but the way it works,
Yeah.
the way it works conventionally is either the supervisor has funding or the department actually, has like funding. You get.
Yeah.
So, for example, there are some department that they fund their graduate students.
Yeah.
So if let's say maybe they recruit like 4 graduate students, they can decide to like fund those graduate students, and some we desire or we stipulate that they do what they call rotation. Rotation is when you move from supervisor to supervisor, and then after some time they select the one that is actually suited for your own research interest, the area that is actually in line with what you want to do.
Nice.
So that is rotation.
Interested. Yeah.
Yeah. But for my department, to be honest, I feel the supervisor, for the most part, the supervisor is the one that actually, like put in for a particular application for a particular, put in for the offer for the student. Okay, I want to recruit this particular student to come into my lab, because my own supervisor actually has a lab. Like, so that lab is actually where we do our work and the likes. So, mine is actually supervisor's funding, but there's a lot of them, the vast majority of them in the US, that the department actually have funding for graduate students. So when you get in, they can actually work things out for you.
I know that this application or getting this fund can be very, very competitive.
Yeah.
So based on GPA, like on MCG or McGill.
no worries.
What is their GPA scale that you think that
the last time I checked, I think it was 3.3 or 4.
Or 4 that you need to meet.
Is it 3.3 or 3.2 or 4? Maybe I'll double check. It's around 3.3 or 4, but it must have more than 3.0.
Yeah. For you to meet the requirement.
Yeah.
Wow. So do a lot of people meet this like
the acceptance rate?
People from Nigeria using 5.0, like basically the acceptance rate.
The acceptance rate here at McGill, to be honest, I don't know, but I think the acceptance rate should be fairly, maybe on average, maybe it's on, because there are some schools like Toronto that is actually the acceptance rate is very small. You get, but I think McGill should be. I'm not sure it's very small. I think it's on average. It's on average, it's very close to the average scale than the top 10%. Okay. Let
me ask you a personal question now.
All right.
So, for someone who wants to study mechanical engineering, what do you feel skills these guys needs to have to be successful studying mechanical engineering at McGill?
It's a very nice question, actually. To be very successful as a mechanical engineer, I think one thing you should basically work on is your computational skill. Like, of course, you will do a lot of calculation and the likes. And you must also work on, computational analytical skill, and you must have this resilient spirit. You get, because there sometimes what did you call it?
I grit.
Grit. You must have this grit mindset, because sometimes that things might not actually work your way. Okay, might not actually work in the way you actually want it to work. For example, I actually wanted to give an example. That's why. For example, I like, there was a particular time I did 10 different experiments for a particular, I carried it out to test one particular sample. So after, doing some analysis on Excel, doing all those, putting the lipstick on the chart and doing all those things, when I took it to my supervisor, I was like, you have to redo this test. I was like, oh my God. Because for me to actually carry out one test, it takes a lot of time. I must eat the mold, wait till the mold is very hot, and before it's like working at 240 degrees Celsius, more than the boiling point of water. I must be very careful. So I cannot just eat it up, and put my hand and so it takes a lot of time for me to be able to do one. Now I've done 10, and at the end of the day, he said the result I got, it's not actually, he said I overcompressed it. I got about 7% strain, and I'm supposed to aim for 10 to 20% strain. I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to start the result, the experiment again. So you must have this great mindset, because if you are the type that you can easily just give up on things and you just want to be complacent, it becomes very difficult to actually try to manage that particular situation. So that is one thing I should also note. And what other thing should I also talk about, considering my experience over here at McGill? I think one other thing is learning to also interact with people, because you cannot know everything.
Yeah, sure.
Learning to interact with people, to ask for help, asking for help is actually an art. Because there are some people that they will not ask for help. They'll be very, very afraid until maybe they catch fire. until we mix one chemical with another chemical, the whole thing will blow. you get. So it's always very good to ask for help. Asking for help doesn't make you dumb. Doesn't make you doesn't make you less of yourself. It just means that you are learning. You get. We all are always learning. My supervisor, after 30 years of actually of actually being a professor, is also learning. There are some things that, I don't know, this can actually be like this, and so I think that is what I can actually say for now.
That makes sense. So what career opportunities are you exploring after graduation, and what semester are you in? And also in the next 4 years, 5 years after grad, where do you see yourself?
All right, that is actually very good. I think it's a very nice question. I'm actually in my, shall I say, last semester for my master's. Career opportunities in Canada, to be honest, the job market is a little bit funny right now. But basically, I'm looking to get into the aerospace sector, or better still, the maybe manufacturing sector. You get. So basically work as maybe maintenance, manufacturing engineer. That is if I don't break into the aerospace. Because everybody wants to get into aerospace. I know aerospace now is you need to have some certification, for example, to work as an aircraft maintenance engineer. You need to have this, they call it AME license.
And they're expensive to get.
They are very expensive, actually. So because you have to go for their designated institutions that actually train students. It's not what we are doing. It is, what I'm doing is I'm taking different courses, machine learning, things are doing, So, but when you go to those particular institutions, they train you to become an aerospace maintenance engineer, or if maybe there's this other one, avionics engineer. Avionics engineer, there are those that actually work on the lighting and the electrical aspect, basically, of an aircraft. So that is one thing I'm actually considering. If I'm not able to actually break into the aerospace sector, there are other opportunities in manufacturing, other ones in maintenance and the likes. So that's what I'm actually looking at currently. I also work as a design engineer, because my work is basically simulation. So design is something I feel very, very excited, when I'm actually doing designs. When I'm designing with software, designing with SolidWorks, designing with Abacus, doing simulations and the like. So are you moving out of Quebec? And in brief, because we have 9 minutes left. So to summarize, first of all, are you moving out of Quebec, or how is the staying back in Canada or in Quebec? I think immigration is a whole new topic on its own. Immigration is another but basically I think for me, I would like to explore other areas because I've spent like how many years in Quebec. So like going to other areas like Alberta, like Ontario and the likes might be a very good. Halifax, I don't know if they are, but anyway, I actually basically get a job. I'll just explore that particular place. I think it's very nice. But if I should stay all my life in Quebec, I don't know. And moreover, I don't actually know this. My French is still basic, so.
So I have like 3 more questions left for this session. So the next one is, can you give like an advice of students who are considering studying mechanical engineering at your school? Like some tips they need to.
I'll just say, apart from the fact that I explained briefly how to go about the application, like all the documents you have to put together. I'll say that don't give up. You get, because I've actually faced a lot of challenges when it comes to this. This my program that sometimes if I regret that why am I even doing this? This is crazy. This is very challenging. But then when I look at my why, you need to have your why. This is your big why. It continues to motivate you. And another thing I will also say is that always make God your top priority, because at the end of the day, there's always somebody you can actually go to and talk to, that God, that your hand ideal, see, look at the way things are, just wait.
You still need to pray,
Exactly. So, and don't give up, because that don't give up is, in fact, it should be in capital letter, because when you send like 3 application or 3 emails and then you get rejection, and then you just say, well, I'm tired of this particular thing. Good things will await those that never give up. Or I didn't normally say that particular quote. Good things always await those that don't give up. I can't remember the quote, but don't give up. That's just the bottom line. Don't give up.
You also need to be prepared for opportunities that might come our way. So I wanted to ask, like, what do you think you would have done differently if you had known before, like, starting your graduate school or before coming to Canada?
To be honest, I think one thing I know that I would have done differently is that I wouldn't have gone for NYSC. because
why?
Because a lot of my folks, or let me say my peers,
got no certificate now.
a lot of my peers, actually, I don't know, but there's maybe it's actually useful. I don't know, but a lot of my peers, they use that particular NYC period to bag funding, scholarship, and they traveled out. So, but during that period now, we're still doing Said and whatever you're calling it, Said. CDS. We're still doing Said, CDS, and all those things. So, to be honest, I don't know the reason for the NYC, especially now that has actually lost, value.
Yeah.
So, and one other thing I know I would have done differently. Is, I think I would have researched early, because I know the information I know now. That time.
Now you're more experienced.
I think I would have been a better person.
Boss.
You get, so.
When I check your LinkedIn profile, academic mentor, and a lot of.
No, no, it's nothing compared to yours, my boss.
Yeah. So final question, like, so we don't know the future yet, right? But what excites you about the future, especially in your field and as an international student in Canada?
Basically, I would say that what excites me is, being a particular place where you have access to a lot of opportunities. You get, for example, if I was in Nigeria, Nigeria is a good country. It's a developing country, as you wish. But there's this particular stigma this stereotype that we have whenever we graduate, and job market, you are sending a bunch of applications, and then you don't even know if you don't know anybody, you don't know where your next meal might come from. Let me use that word.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a particular place where you put in the effort and you see the effort working for you, like you get with God, like everything will just be aligned. So it's the access to opportunity that actually motivate a lot of us. You get. So
I hope your people are not missing you at home in Nigeria, and hopefully one day they will see you.
I also miss them too, but it's just that you
call them all the time. So what do you?
Basically. So we get to talk from time to time, but it's all for the greater good. because my dad normally says something too, so that that it will benefit everybody. So it's all for the greater good. You get, because a lot of things that have changed from the time I left Nigeria to like now. A lot of like things have dramatically changed. So to be honest, I wish, if I were to be in Nigeria, I think that's what I wanted to say. If I were to be in Nigeria, I don't know, it would have been crazier, because I might not have been able to raise the kind of money that I raised when I was trying to look for, because it's just the way it is. Things are getting much more expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
Naira rate is crashing.
Yeah, even the airfare and the likes is more expensive now. So it's crazy. People that I lent money from that time, I would have probably lent more money. You get? So it's just the way it is. So it's all for the greater good.
Right. So we have like 2 minutes left. I want to thank you very much.
You're welcome, my boss. I'm very excited to actually.
I forgot to even introduce myself. Okay. So for your information, me myself, I'm a master's student. Why I'm doing course based. So Juwon here is doing research based masters. So my school is Oluwajuwon University, studying applied computer science. Nova Scotia, Halifax. Actually, it's the biggest school in Atlantic.
Exactly.
And, Halifax is the biggest
Atlantic, guys.
Atlantic region. So that is why I am here, and I hope you get 1 or 2 stuff from this session. I know it's not possible to like capture all possible questions that you guys might have, but at least from this 1 or 2 things, you might get an overview or what.
And if you have questions, you can always leave it down in the comments.
Exactly.
Like, we can always make like more sessions to really trash them out.
I'm going to drop his LinkedIn or his contact. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 direct questions that you want to ask concerning Quebec or the French region, or you're studying his course, mechanical engineering, or maybe you want to do research base or 1 or 2 stuff. Like I said, he's an academic mentor. He can brush you up. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Juwon, once again, thank you so much for.
It's nice to. It's my pleasure. It's nice to be on this.
And I hope we'll have something like this more in the future.
Of course.
So guys, we have come to the end of this video. If you like the video, make sure you share to friends and family, like this video, comment what you think, what you pick, and any of your question. And also, most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll keep getting better and keep improving. And lastly, as you all know, I remain your one and only Kasy of Canada, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.